Welcome, Blue Jay fans. Welcome to episode 18 of Talking Jays. I am your host, George Long. The spring training games are winding down. 8 days left until opening day when your Toronto Blue Jays take on the New York Yankees on April 1st. We're going to have a little bit of power versus finesse with Garrett Cole versus Hyun-Jin Ryu. That's going to be a very fun game to watch. You see both sides of power on one side, a little bit of finesse on the other, and just a nice little battle to start the season off. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Love to see those two little different type of pitchers going. And again, it doesn't matter how hard you throw that ball; it matters where you throw that ball. And Hyun-Jin is a master of his craft. So let's hopefully we can put some runs on the board, give him some support. He is going to hopefully dice and carve and do everything that he normally does. So it's going to be fun to watch. So today's episode, we're going to just do a little recap on the spring. We're going to take a talk about the outfield defense. Not totally happy right now. I know my last podcast I talked about the infield defense, which is going very, very well. Everybody is playing well there. And we're going to talk about Alejandro Kirk. I've been getting on a little bit of online wars with a few people. That people are saying he definitely 100% should be on this team this season. I'm going the other way, and I'll give you my points on it as to why I think a little bit of seasoning down in AAA will do him a world of good. So, and then we're going to talk about right now. It's the number one surprise of the spring so far. So we're going to dice into some numbers and give you my take on that the big number one surprise. So let's take a look at some of the spring recap here. Let's see where we are standing at right here. I can't get over. Let's try this here. Here we go. All right, so you can take a look here. The records 14-8. They're playing quite well. They're matching with the Yankees right now. Records don't mean nothing. So. But the big thing that I see, if you take a look over here, runs against 70 runs against with a plus 40 runs for and against. So they're blowing right now everybody out of the water. If you take a look, this is Grapefruit League. And then if you take a look at the Cactus League, again, they're blowing everybody out of the water with runs against. Again, numbers, I know, in spring training don't mean a whole lot. But you can't fool pitching. You just can't fool it. So they're pitching really well, putting up good numbers. They're putting runs on the board. Only Miami's given up a few less runs. That's probably mostly because they've only played 15 games to Toronto's 22. So again, I don't put much in the record, but I'll put a lot of stock into the runs against because they're working on things and things are actually working. So. I'm impressed with this number here that runs against. So we talked about all off season about the pitching and things like that, and that's where runs against comes from, is your pitching and your defense. So infield defense has been great. Let's talk about the outfield defense though. I watched the game. I believe it was against the Yankees. They played Philly last night, Detroit a couple days ago, and then the Yankees. So there's a fly ball out to left field. Kevin Biggio's first start in left field was a little shaky with it. That's a ball that I should have played it here on this podcast, but it's a ball. If you remember watching the ball game, it's a ball that George Springer should have just took control and take it, and it would have been money in his glove. There was a runner on base. That ball flopped in. He had a hard time with it. Next batter came up with the 2 runs on base and hit a 3-run homer with 2 outs. So that would have sealed the inning, but the ball fell down and gave up a 3-run homer to put the game out of reach at 7-0. Again, spring training, work out the bugs. You just can't have that going into the season. The outfield defense was a major sore spot last season. You just can't have it going again this season. You got Gurriel's probably going to man left field, Teoscar in right, Springer in center, and going to slide in Grichuk in right and center, give some guys days off, stuff like that. So there was another play to right field. Grichuk, this was the Detroit game. Cavan will start at third base. So runner on first base, hit the Grichuk in right. Runner at first, round a second, head towards third. Easily should have been out at third base. Had plenty of time. Ball was in the glove as the runner just had 2 steps past second base. As I watched the replay, bad throw, kind of short hopped Cavan, handcuffed him at the bag, couldn't come down with that ball for the tag. A play that's got to be made. You got to make those plays. You got to get those assists going up from those outfields. Make teams scared of taking those extra 90 feet bases. Right now, I see a lot of challenging because they know how right now the outfield defense is not the strong point of the Blue Jays. So you got to improve that. Hopefully, they can come into the season and be just better outfield defense. So that's my thinking with the D in the outfield. The infield's been playing well. Defense has been strong. Vladdy not making errors, making all his plays. Really impressed with Rowdy Tellez at first base. He's got some nice soft hands on him. Caresses that ball. Has started a couple of double plays, first to second, second back to first. He's looked really, really well. He could play first base for me any day of the week. So Rowdy's looking good at first. Simeon's making all his plays. He made one error, I believe, in one of those games. It was a throwing error, thrown to third base. He threw it actually into the stands, and they scored 2 runs on that throwing error. So that was his only error so far this season. So he's playing well. He's looking good there. He's looking really good at second base. Biggio's playing well. Still not stellar, but he's playing well enough. He gets to the balls. He's making his plays. There was one there I saw a ball hit up the middle. I would say maybe 10, 12 shortstop would have had it. He didn't come up with it. The range is just not there yet. And so game in and game out, hopefully he gets better and better. They talk about his work ethic, things like that. So he's going to get better. Let's talk about Alejandro Kirk. I saw a game that he started against Detroit. There's no doubt in the boy's stick. He can hit with the best of them. It's the defense that I'm worried about right now. I hear the announcer saying the pitchers love throwing to him. Great. But I watched a game against Detroit. A few balls in the dirt and are getting away from the big man. So to me, I think he should be down. Start AAA. Get some seasoning under his belt. He's only 22 years old. It takes a while to become a very good catcher. Jansen is just starting now. He's impressing me a little bit. He's getting a little better behind the plate. He's a little more confident. He threw a runner out in one of those spring training games, and it wasn't even close. Quick feet, quick transaction, and down to second base and got him. So he is starting to impress me a bit. He's still got a little bit to go yet. So obviously, the Jays have all the faith in him. They're going with him as their number one. So, but Alejandro, I think he should be down there. I noticed the game in Detroit when a Stripling was pitching, and he's got that over the top curveball which goes down to the dirt, and if you don't caress that ball, it's taken off on you. And I say at least 3 or 4 off the chest that after it hit the dirt, bounced and got away. So what I'm seeing is that, for one, he's a one knee on the dirt receiver, and I don't like that. I think 2 knees should be up. It's easier to get down and get square off to the ball. And when I talk about square off to the ball, when he's on one knee and he drops, his shoulders are even with his hips. So he's straight up. So when that ball is hitting the dirt and coming off his chest, it's bouncing and taking off. It's not staying at his feet. So as a catcher, when you get down, your 2 shoulders have got to be out past your hips. It gives you that arc. So when the ball comes down and hits you in the chest, it comes right back down right at your knees. But he's straight up, bouncing off the chest and taking off. I have this book here that I got to take to my granddaughter. These are, what's this? Bedtime stories. And I also have Curious George. I just had them, and I got to take them to her. But if I can give it a try and show, if you can see it like this. So this is the dirt right here. This is Alejandro here, so I'll give you the side view. So when that ball is hitting the dirt and coming up, it's taken off because there's nothing here to stop. It's bouncing the dirt, taking off. So let's say these are his shoulders right here, these 2 points here. So what he's got to do is, when he drops down, he's got to have a little arc. The shoulders got to come out. So when the ball hits on the dirt, it hits him in the chest and it comes right back down because it can't bounce up because just the angle of it will show you that. You get a bouncy ball and just throw it off the book and have the arc, and you'll see it'll come right down. But if he's straight up like this, hits the dirt, bounces, and takes off, that's not good. He's got to be arced like this, so when it hits the dirt, it comes right back down, right down on his knees where he stops. So that's what I see from Alejandro. He's got to work on that. Guys like top catchers. One guy that was really good at it, Boston Red Sox, Veritek, very, very good at it. Boston went to the playoffs many times. Won some World Series with Veritek behind the plate. That's not coincidental. You got to have great catching. Russell Martin, another excellent receiver, blocking that ball, keeping those shoulders out. Been to the playoffs at least 10, 12 times. I can't remember how many times, but he's been there over 10 times the playoffs. Yeah, and that's Molina, the artist of it. Shoulders out, blocks it, the ball stays right in the dirt. Not trying to catch it, just hitting off the chest. So soft, and when it hits the chest, it stays right down because those shoulders are out, and it just smothers the ball right down. So, but if your shoulders are up, if you're straight down and go straight down, it's bouncing your chest and taking off. So he's got to improve that big time. So that's why I think he should be down. And the reason why I think he should be down too is, if he starts up, let's just say he starts with the big club and he struggles, receiving the ball, struggles at the plate. Sometimes players can't recover from those struggles. I remember I'll put a comparison in 2010, JP Arancibia. Some of you older ones may remember JP, but JP had a great spring starting off. His first, I think he had his first 14 at-bats, 15 at-bats, something like that. Just kind of like where Alejandro's right now, 16 at-bats. He had like 14, 15 at-bats, and he's batting over 300 and had a monster 1.29 OPS. He was having, terrific spring. But another one who would have benefited by staying down. I'm not comparing the two, but you just have nowheres to go if you start in the majors and you struggle. Some players just can't recover from that. That's why I think he should be down in AAA, get his game, get it at the top of his game. He's not at the top of his game right now. I'm telling you that right now, boys and girls, he is not at the top of his game. And if you just can't. The MLB is the get it done league, and you can't work on things during the season. You can work on things during the season in AAA, and that's what he's got to do. Work on things in the AAA. I'm a huge Alejandro Kirk fan. I really am. I think it's best for the team, and I think it's best for him to start down in AAA, get your game to the top of the level, then you can come up and be more comfortable. Because if you start in the MLB and you struggle, some players can't recover from that. Especially if you get sent down, and where do you go? You're restarting things, and it's a waste of a season when you do it that way. Don't do it ass backwards. Go down to the minors, get it going, and work your way up. I remember Roy Halladay. Again, there was another one who they started too early up there. He ended up going back, working on some things with Mel. Was it Mel? No, not Mel Stoudemire. I can't remember who it was. With a pitching coach down in AAA. Anyways, he was able to get his game back, but it was very dicey for a while. and that's the scary part. You can't just start like that. Not everybody is Tatis. You just can't start like that. So you gotta have a good strong foundation. I don't know. He has never played in AAA. I think 2020 there was no minors, but in 2019 I think he was only an A ball. So like, don't rush these guys up, especially at the hardest position on a ball team is catching. The hardest, most difficult position. You gotta have strong mental game back there. You can't be. To me, when I watch the game in Detroit, he's chasing the ball. He's fighting it. You can't do that when you're behind the plate. You got to receive. So I'm hoping that he does start AAA. 100% he'll be up during the season. There's no question. But start him in AAA. Let him get his game going. Let him be comfortable. To me, I don't see him as comfortable. I really don't. He's a little finicky behind the plate. So um, I know the one knee down is the way they're doing it nowadays. So that's what I would do. I would go send him down, let him get his game going, and then go from there. So that's my take on Alejandro. Again, he's not squaring off to that ball, not receiving it off the chest protector and caressing it and dropping it down to his knees. And then again, if he slumps, what do? You can send him down, 30, 40 games into the season, but it could be a waste of a season because now he's got to build himself back up. Let him build himself up at the start of the season, bring him up 30 or 40 games into the season, have, at the 60 game season, 80, whatever. Just let him get his game going. There's Riley Adams. If you don't want to go with I'm drawing a blank on the other catcher now. I draw blanks when I go on these podcasts. Reese McGuire. So like if you don't believe in Reese McGuire, have Riley Adams. He's a 25, 26-year-old back catcher. He's having a good spring too. Have him as your backup. But to me, the reason why you want Alejandro in the lineup is because of his offense. Well, we have enough offense, so let him get his game going behind the plate. I'll cut it off there. I've been rambling on about this whole thing because it gets under my skin. I've had some battles online with people who think, he's a no-doubter to make this team, and I think he should just hold the horse. He's a 22-year-old kid in the toughest position in a ball team, which is back catching. So just slow it down a bit, slow him down a bit, and let him have half a season in AAA. He's never played AAA. He's straight out of A ball. So I know, again, the stick is good. It can play, but let him work on his position. That's my take. So let me talk about the big surprise in spring this year, and that is the pitching staff. They set out to do a game plan with Walker, and everything is going as to plan. So let's take a look at some numbers here. I will take a look. These are the strikeouts last year with the Blue Jays. They ranked 17th in all of MLB with 519 strikeouts. That's the pitchers, of course, who are striking out the other teams. So they ranked 17th right now during spring, and these are pretty much all up to date with the exception of the Philadelphia game. They are 7th right now during spring training with the amount of strikeouts. So pitching has improved with the power. You can take a look at some of those teams ahead of them: San Francisco, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Los Angeles Dodgers. So they're right there with some of those teams. So the power is showing pretty well and getting some strikeouts. Let's take a look at the team ERAs. 17th again last season, 4.60. How are they doing in the spring? Well, they are first out of all 30 MLB teams. They are with a team ERA of 3.28. Don't sneeze at that. I know it's spring training. I know that. But this pitching staff was touted as a stinker of a pitching staff, as some people online have called it. They don't even have season pitching staff, whatever the terms that I'm hearing. So they don't know. Nobody believes that they have the pitching to go 162 games, and I believe they do. I've said from the get-go, They have enough pitching along with that offense to get to the postseason. Their problem right now is that they don't have the pitching to go in the postseason. So hopefully they can get that arm or two during the season if they want to make that rankings. Batting average against. You can see they were ranked 23rd in all of 30 teams last year, with teams are batting 255 off them. This year in the spring, teams are only batting 190 from the Blue Jays pitching staff. So a big, it's a huge. They're not batting 200 off the. They're batting 190 from off their pitchers. So great stat. Pitching has been phenomenal. Here is the big one here that I just crushed the Blue Jays in my very first podcast talking about them, was the amount of walks that their pitchers thrown last year, and they were just two behind the Boston Red Sox for the amount of walks. Walks will kill you. I have a saying, it's not the hits that hurt you, it's the walks in front of the hits. So if you're walking players, you can't defend a walk. There's nothing you can actually do. You can defend a ball that's hit hard because you can make a diving play, or it's hit hard at you. It's one of those atom balls. You can hit a soft roller. You can defend that. You just cannot defend a walk. There's absolutely you can turn a walk into a double. With a stolen base. So you can't defend it. So I'm never going to defend a walk. Pitchers, you should not walk. When I was teaching my son, the ropes of the games as a 7-year-old and as an 8-year-old when he started pitching, I drilled in his head, walks will kill you. Do not walk. I did push at the start, which was wrong to me, anyways. As I coached more and moved up a bit, stuff like that. I pushed hard for first pitch strikes, and that was putting a lot of pressure. That puts a lot of pressure on a pitcher to tell them to get first pitch strikes. And first pitch strikes are awesome. I love them. But when you try and implement that, where do you go when the first pitch is the ball? So I kind of backed off a bit, and as I preached to Alec Manoa in a Twitter conversation that I had with him, no 2-0s. So with your first two pitches, it's got to be at least 1-1 count. So I backed off with the first pitch strikes when I was teaching my son. I was probably third year into it, and as I realized that's too much pressure on a pitcher. So what I did was I backed off on that and I said, okay, let's get one of those first two pitches in as a strike. So no, we don't want no 2-0s. 2-0s are a curse to a pitcher. So no 2-0s, no 2-0s. You cannot have a 2-0 count to a batter. So it's got to be at least 1-1 or 0-2 after two pitches. So that's what I ingrained as him as he hit 11 and 12, and then as I started coaching with his age group at 12, then I started kind of implementing that as a team rule pitching staff, whatever. No 2-0s. 2-0s will kill you. So. And 2-0s leads to walks. So there's just no way to defend a walk. So I know I got sidetracked a bit talking about that, but if you take a look at the spring now, take a look at this. They are first with the least walks as a pitching staff. 58 walks. The Dodgers have walked 60. Tampa Bay has walked 61. So they are tops in spring. And I don't care what anybody says. I know spring numbers are spring numbers, and I will be the first to say it. But this is a remarkable turnaround. When you go from the almost last place in pitcher walks, and you come first place in the least walks against, superb. And I am so floored with this number, and which... we talked about the batting average. They're the best, and walks allow. So if you take a look at the whip, whip is walks plus the hits divided by innings pitched. They were 26th last year in the league because of all those walks. And this year, They are tops with WHIP at 1.04. So that's walks plus hits divided by your innings pitched. I always said a pitcher, you should have your WHIP around 1.20 for a pitcher. This pitching staff is at 1.04. So tremendous turnaround from that pitching staff. That's a huge surprise when I started looking at some of their numbers. When I seen the runs against, and I said, wow. So then I dove a little deeper and said, why are they not giving up as many runs? Why are they the least team that gives up the least runs against? And as I looked at it, I just contributed to walks and the other team's batting averages. So it's their WHIP, and so walks and WHIP, other team's batting average, things like that. That will that'll lead you to a winning season, and I think they will have a winning season. Don't underestimate this pitching staff. I know Kirby Yates is a huge loss, but I'm going to talk about my next podcast, who I think could step into his role. I don't know if they will do it, but this relief pitcher, I expect to have just a breakout season wherever they're going to put him. I'll talk about that in my next podcast. I'm going to 3 players off the Blue Jays who I think are going to have breakout seasons. One starting pitcher, one relief pitcher, and one positional player. I'm going to give my take on who I think are going to be those 3 breakout players for the Jays. So stay tuned for that. So again, opening day coming soon, 8 days away. Cannot wait for opening day and watch the power of Cole versus the finesse of Ryu. It's going to be a dandy of a ball game. Again, hopefully, just recap here. The outfield defense got improved. Infield defense is looking good. Outfield, come on, boys, pick up your game. Let's start working on some things. I'd love to see them working on some things and get it done. I know they talk, Buck and Pat Tabler and guys like that talk about how hard the infield is working. I don't hear too much about the outfield. You can still do stuff. Fly me over. I'll work with the outfield defense if you. I just want this team to succeed. Alejandro Kirk again down AAA. That's where he should be starting. Let him get his game going strong. Don't rush this boy. He's going to be a good one. But again, don't rush. He's got to work on his defensive game big time for my take, anyways. And the big surprise again, the pitching staff. I know we talk about the pitching staff. Don't underestimate this pitching staff. Robbie Ray, Steven Matz, they've been playing phenomenal during the spring. Hopefully they can carry that over to the season. We got to get big Nate Dogg back on the mound, and then that's a good 4 right there. And then you got Stripling to counteract. Tanner Roark had a rough outing against the Yankees. Be nice to be able to maneuver him because he's going to start. I can't see him not starting. He's just making way too much money. Be nice to maneuver him against the weaker, the Kansas Cities or the Baltimore Orioles. If you could line them up, because the Yankees will crush them. The White Sox will crush them. Those good hitting teams will be all over him. So it'll be nice to maneuver him and kind of spot him. Trying to avoid those big teams. You're going to need him to eat up innings. So I wouldn't be surprised if they release him halfway in the season or 3 quarters. They're going to use some of that arm to eat up innings for the first half of the season because they're paying money. So, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him moved on if they make a deal for a top-notch pitcher like a Kyle Hendricks or I'll give you a little foreshadowing here, a Max Scherzer, something like that. Max Scherzer is a free agent at the end of the year. If Washington shit the bed this year, don't be surprised to see Scherzer move. So because they may want to start retooling their pitching staff, their team. So we'll see about that, but we'll talk about that halfway in the season. All right, so thanks. That's it. That's 30 minutes of my time to get to you guys. Hopefully you enjoy some of my takes, and stay tuned for the next podcast. I'm going to talk about my 3 players who are going to break out this season. So thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next episode, which will be episode 19. Thank you.